Hey Eurovision fans, today we're going to be going through the top 10 songs in terms of lyrics in Eurovision 2024. We're going to drink smoothies in near cafes and I'm going to tell you my top 10 and then we're going to find out the community top 10. So let's kiki. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Tom. I'm an Irish Eurovision analyst and you can find all of this stuff on my Eurovision channel. So apologies that I've been away for a little bit. I got very busy in my regular job. Things kind of got very stressful. That's starting to calm down a little bit now. Hopefully not really. Maybe I had an opportunity to do some filming. So I'm going to hopefully catch up over the next couple of weeks. So I posted a link on the community section of my channel to a poll on EurovisionVote.Party where everybody could put their votes in, their top 10. And then I added up all those scores and that's going to be the community score, and then obviously my top 10 is just my personal top 10. Now I made this before I did the polls because I didn't want to be too influenced. Thank you to everybody who voted on EurovisionVote.Party and left comments. I'm going to read out some of them later. Okay, so let's get straight into it. And my top 10 song for lyrics this year was Sylvester Belt singing Look Telk. Took me a second to remember it was because it's been a while. First of all, this because it's in Lithuanian. I think there's still this thing with Lithuanians about using the Lithuanian language, because I remember Sylvester saying this year a lot of people told him that people don't want to hear Lithuanian or it doesn't sound good or for whatever reason. I really love Lithuanian. It's got a lovely sound. It sounds very mysterious and cool to me. And I love the meaning of the song Look Telk, meaning kind of wait a little bit or just a little bit of time. I love the idea of this song, lying in bed beside someone that you've got a connection with and not wanting them to leave, just wanting the moment to go on a little bit longer. So really simple lyrics talking about a small moment in time, which I really like. Yeah, overall I really enjoy this and that's why it's my number 10. Okay, the community number 10 with 584 points. It is a non-English song and it's the first time this country has sent a non-English song in a really long time. That is Norway. It's Gåte singing Ulvaham. So I believe this is the first Norwegian song since 2004 or 3, one of those. Tom C says, I find it hard to understand lyrics not in English. However, I really like songs that tell a story, and this tells a great story about an ancient Norwegian fairy tale. Yeah, I love that this is lyrically so different for Norway as well. You know, they've been kind of sending strange stuff lyrically recently. If you look at Give That Wolf a Banana was obviously quite odd. Fallen Angel was a little bit more generic lyric-wise. Queen of Kings was kind of cool. That had a little bit of a historical feel as well. And then this year sending a Norwegian fairy tale. I actually kind of like what Norway are doing recently with their lyric. Pavis says, drinking the blood of your brother to break your stepmother's curse is metal as hell. Gåte mentioned in an interview that the song is about liberation of your own terms, and that description has stuck with me ever since. That's really cool if that is correct. I'm assuming it's correct. I didn't realize that it was about drinking your brother's blood to break a curse, so that's really cool imagery. I suppose one thing you could say is that unfortunately when it is in a foreign language, some of those like really cool lyrical elements are lost. I didn't realize it had this story fairy tale behind it. You know, that's one of the disadvantages. We're going to see some of the songs that are coming up later in this list are in English, so you can understand the story a little bit easier. But there's a give and take there. Obviously the fact it's in Norwegian adds a little bit of mystery to it as well. Okay, one comment from YouTube. Gemma Collins, I have to score Norway highly. It was a favourite of mine anyway musically with that beautiful haunting vocal, but I'm a sucker for a traditional folklore story and it was great to hear it in Norwegian. Yeah, I wonder, are Norway going to send something in Norwegian again, or are we going to have to wait like another 20 years? My gut is that we're going back to English, but maybe we might see more Norwegian language songs in Melodi Grand Prix next year. I hope so. Okay, my 9th place is Ali Alexander singing Dizzy. Now don't get angry with me because I know some people are going to say that they don't really like this lyrics or it doesn't have a lot of depth to it. I'm not looking for an epiphany with all of my songs. Sometimes I like my kind of more mainstream basic pop songs, and this for me is fun. I like this theme that goes to the song of dizziness and circles and spinning. There's a place where we break the line, make it a circle redefined. I really like that line. Yeah, look, I'm not saying that this is like a poem or anything, but it's okay to like lyrics from girly bops. Not everything has to have a super amount of depth to it. And for me, this was one of the funner lyrics for me. I liked how it fitted in with the staging, that they very much came up with a visual concept and then the lyrics kind of fit in with that and meshed really well. And I enjoy singing this when I hear the song. So yeah, I like these lyrics. Sorry if you don't like them or you think that they're a bit basic, but when I made this list, I just went by the lyrics that resonated with me. Obviously, there's an advantage from the fact that these lyrics are in English. It's easier for me to understand and hear the wordplay and whatnot. But yeah, I really like these lyrics from Ali. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, with 638 points, your 9th place is another non-English song, and it is Raven singing Veronica for Slovenia. Tom C says, this tells a great story about the first woman in Slovenia put on trial for witchcraft. Pava says, Jasem TC Veronica, tvojo resniko leoneve part is amazing in caps, is an amazing final to the song. We are all still Veronica, even if the days of the literal witch hunts are over. Yeah, there's a nice meaning. Yeah, I think there's a lot of elements to the song which I may go into later because this might be in my top 10 as well. But yeah, it's really cool when you have these songs that have a real story behind them. And it's also cultural as well because it's telling off a little bit of Slovenian history. AWEV and FTM says, I actually find the lyrics of Veronica to be the most interesting. The combination of stories gave a unique perspective on women empowerment, which is not easy to do considering how many times it has been done before at Eurovision. Also really great to have a song in Slovene. 2 years in a row now that Slovenia have done that, and they've qualified both years. So hopefully that's something that they're going to consider for next year. I'm not sure if we're going to have an internal selection or if we're going to go back to their national final, but we're interesting to see, are they going to keep up that streak now of Slovene in their entry? Okay, now time for my 8th place. If you know me, you know I love board games, so I gotta give a shout out to my 8th place, which is Greece. It's Marina Satti singing Zari. So when I did a review of this song, I initially thought that she was talking about a guy. Obviously, when you translate some lyrics from their original language into English, some of the nuances lost. But then people in the comments explained to me that actually it's an autobiographical song about the risk she's taking in being in Eurovision. I hope that those people were correct. But I really like that. I think it's really interesting introspection from her. Is Eurovision something she wants to do? She's putting her career on the line. Is she just going to roll the dice? You only live once, carpe diem. I really, really love that theme of just take a chance. You don't know what's going to happen. It could work, it cannot work. I think actually in the bench it worked really well for her because I saw that her album was doing really well. I think that she charted in the UK as well, her album. I saw a couple of things on Twitter, people talking about the success that she was getting after the competition. So it seems like she did roll a pretty good number. But yeah, I think the theme of like taking opportunities, actually it's not super overdone. I haven't heard that many songs about it, but to specifically talk about her own Eurovision experience, I think that's really cool, kind of meta thing, talking about what she's literally doing on stage to the camera. I think that's really, really cool. Actually, I probably should put this higher. I don't want to change my list. I should have put this higher because actually now I'm selling it to myself. But yeah, I really like that. And then I like this idea of dice to represent this sense of you've got no control over it. It can go really well, it can't. And sometimes you just got to say, F it. I'm just going to do it, roll the dice, see what happens. At least I tried. So really, really cool metaphor. And I think it really fit with what was a very risky song. So your 8th place, only 20 points ahead of Slovenia. It's our first song in English, and it is Bambi Thug singing Doomsday Blue. And we have another comment here from Pavas. I guess you'd rather have a star than the moon is Bambi's favorite lyric of the song, and I have to agree, it's kind of simple but so open to interpretation in a really cool way. I'm a sucker for witchy themes too, so the hexing and cursing is right up my alley. Yeah, this wasn't on my top 10, but I admit that there's a lot of lyrics in this that really stand out. That I guess you'd rather have a star than the moon is really, really iconic. It's a great line. Like Pavas said, it could mean several things, but it's kind of cool because you can infer your own meaning. And then also the hexes Avada Kedavra, I speak to destroy. Lots of like very iconic lines in this that are very, very memorable and work really well on camera and gave them a lot of options for the staging because there's so much depth in the lyrics that can tie to an image. So really, really well done by Bambi Thug. And you know, I do expect that UK and Ireland should have good lyrics because we do natively speak English. So we have a little bit of an advantage there. I feel there should be a little bit more originality and play on words. That's why I get so angry when we have these like very generic songs in the Irish national final which lyrically have nothing to them, because we don't really have an excuse not to put in something a little bit original. We have such a gigantic advantage in being able to know all the latest slang and all the latest wording. So yeah, Bambi was really great at bringing a personal story, coming up with some new fresh lyrics. Really, really great. Okay, my number 7, you're gonna get angry with me about this, but I'm gonna try and justify why. My number 7 is France, it's Smthngnw, mon amour. Now, I know Francophone people have told me that the lyrics for this are very, very cliche. I can't hear it. My French isn't good enough to hear how cliched the lyrics are. So I'm living in my own little fantasy world of intermediate basic French where I can hear that. Now, obviously, I'm a native English speaker, so I can hear very cliche lyrics in English. For example, the Luxembourg national final this year, I'm convinced that a large amount of those lyrics were AI generated because they really just were so, there was nothing original in any of them. They just sounded like a mishmash collection of other people's previous ideas. And the French lyrics this year probably have the same thing. At the end of the day, I can hear that. I really love French. I'm learning it right now. I'm trying to take my DELF B2 exam. I feel like I'm learning when I'm walking down the road singing this. I think it's fun to sing along. I love how French sounds. Yeah, it just transports me, and probably as my French gets better, this will probably sound more basic bitch to me in the future. But I'm not at that point yet. I can only give you my top 10 now, and I really love singing along to these lyrics. I love the words in it. It's a basic love song, but yeah, I just like it. Sorry, I do. You know, I originally put it out because I thought I would get some grief, but then I was like, F it, I'm just gonna put in what is actually my top 10. So that is my number 7, it is France. Okay, your number 7 with 730 points is Ukraine. Alyona and Jerry Heil. Sammy is a Eurofan says, empowerment anthem that describes we're not alone in spite of the adversity. And Christina says, beautiful meaning and connects people. For me, the main theme of this song was female empowerment, talking about strong women, and obviously there's an allusion as well to what's going on in Ukraine. So I'm not a religious person, so the religious aspect of me, I don't particularly connect with, but I know that some people probably enjoyed that. I still really appreciate that Ukraine's sending something original. This isn't like super generic lyrics. They're coming up with this story that they feel summarizes them and how they're feeling. I feel like there's originality here. And again, Ukraine bringing the Ukrainian language to Eurovision, which is really, really great. Most of the time, Ukraine sends songs in English. God, that's hard to say. So sending a song in Ukrainian is really, really nice. Okay, my number 6 is Italy. It's Angelina Mango singing La Noia. Really cool lyrics here, giving an autobiographical story, parts of her career, talking about the boredom of living in a small city in Italy, and also dealing with the kind of mental issues after the death of her father. So lots of stuff to unpack here, very rich lyrically. I really enjoyed going through this line by line because I felt like every word and line had a lot of thought put into it. This wasn't full of cliches. I feel like she really was writing her diary into the song. Really, really cool depth, originality, some fun play words as well. This idea of la combia de la noix, this dance of boredom. And I really feel like the lyrics matched the melody of the song as well. So really, really clever songwriting by Angelina. And we expect this from Italy. I think wordsmithery is really important in Sanremo. I don't think that you can win Sanremo if you send something really generic, because lyrics have such an importance in Sanremo Music Festival. So we're always going to get something that's got this very sincere depth to it. And that's what we got this year from Angelina. So really, really great entry from her. Okay, your 6th place with 829 points. It is Spain. Nebulosa singing Thora. Christina says, so cool. I don't care what the others think. That's the way. Thora, Thora, Thora. Ver says, very empowering lyrics, especially as they were, as far as I know, partly written by a middle-aged woman who has experienced this for decades. The verse that starts with, when I get what I want, it's never because I deserve it, always gets me. I still can't believe some people thought this was sexist just because of the use of the word Thora. Yeah, I was surprised by that as well. For me, this is like very much a female empowerment anthem. Like the lyrics are very, very much about how this is a woman who can't do any right. If she does anything good, it's undeserved. So yeah, I didn't get that, but that's just not how the song registered for me as well. So I agree with Ver. Pava says, Zoras unite. Love how shamelessly this song embraces being a bitch and being proud of it. Zora de Postal indeed. So yeah, I think most people liked this and thought it was like a fun, tongue-in-cheek female empowerment song. Okay, it's time for my 5th place song, and that is Croatia. It's Baby Lasagna singing Rim Tim Tagi Dim. Again, I really like songs that tell a story, just do something different. And this is Baby Lasagna talking about the situation in Croatia. A lot of people leaving to go to the big city or leaving the country, looking for opportunity, and talking about how he's leaving and how friends have left. This anxiety and depression that he's feeling, and then putting it into a fun song. Really cool to learn about what's happening in Croatia as well. I didn't realize that this is something that's really happening in Southeastern Europe. Bulgaria's got a huge problem with this. I think Bulgaria actually has the biggest population decrease of everyone in the area, of everyone in the world right now. So yeah, to hear that Croatia is also going through a similar thing, it's great to get informed and educated from a song, but also having it done in a fun way. There were lots of iconic lyrics like meow cat, please meow back. I think there were a couple of lyrics I thought were a little bit clunky, but the majority I really, really enjoyed. I think the fact that this was in English just made it a lot easier to understand the story. It added a lot of depth for me. So I'm not saying I want all songs in English at all, But I do think sometimes when it's got this like big, deep meaning, it being in English can really just help you get the feeling and the meaning of the song a lot easier. Sometimes maybe you can do a mix. Some songs, like for example, Look Talk, I don't think you need to know what all the meanings are. So yeah, I think there's a little bit of a balancing act, but I definitely think this being in English helped Croatia because it really added to the charm. Okay, your 5th place with 1,001 points is Portugal. It's Yolanda singing Grido. So Saete says, the way she sings about feeling stranded in her own mind and depression is truly amazing. Combined to the staging, the cubes make the stage tighter. The dancers, the moves, and a camera going to a 2x2 was genius. The Grido in the end was the best part. Incredible. Okay, we have a comment from Sinclair. I'm abridging this a little bit. This Eurovision season really had me in my feelings. I got emotional from my first time listening to it, not even understanding the lyrics. Then I read them and I can still feel the lump in my throat and the way my hands shook. So heartbreaking, so soul crushing, and yet completely empowering and hopeful. I kind of expect this from Portugal, that they've got a lot of depth, similar to Italy as well. I feel like there's a lot of people putting their souls on display in Festival da Canção. I feel like there's very few songs that have throwaway lyrics. Everyone's talking about something that's either very personal to them or has some sort of like bigger meaning. So yeah, really cool song from Yolanda where she's talking about her struggles with mental health and then tying that in with this gorgeous choreography as well. A comment on YouTube from Rohan Williamson. I don't understand a word of Portuguese, but Grido is truly a celebration of how rhythm and lyrics can transcend any language barrier. There's naturally a lot of repetition in any Eurovision song, but Portugal found a way to use it to enhance the final product by creating poetic hooks such as Ainda repeated in the chorus and throughout the song. A lyrical masterpiece. And again, if you write the song yourself, it's easier to convey those emotions because she really does feel them, as opposed to when somebody else gives you that song. Now that's not to say it's not possible. For example, Portugal in 2018, Claudia Pascoal sang O Jardim, which was the songwriters talking about a memory of a garden from her grandmother. But Claudia Pascal still conveyed the emotions really well. So you can sing someone else's emotions and it can work. But I think generally when you're singing something about your own experience, it's easier to convey those emotions on stage. Okay, it's time for my 4th place, and we finally have our first crossover, and that is Raven singing Veronica. So I love these songs that kind of have a historical element to it. One of the other ones it makes me think of is Mata Hari from Azerbaijan, which I know some people hate those lyrics. I really like that. I like these songs that are giving a homage to someone in the past, kind of like reviving their memory and what they went through. What happened to Veronica is absolutely terrible. Having a song in Eurovision doesn't undo that, but just keeping her memory alive and kind of saying like, this is what happened to this woman in the past. And, you know, kind of like making a comparison to the future about what are women going through now. I like that. I like that revival of her spirit. And, you know, I was lucky enough to accidentally go to Veronica's casa in Celia. I did a video about that on my Patreon. So I feel like this has an extra layer as well, because I actually went to the castle where she lived, and seeing that just made it a little bit more real. So yeah, I love the fact it's also talking about historical Slovenian elements. It's in Slovene. This is interesting to me. This has got depth. It's unique, it's telling a mystical story that's also got this heart-aching pastoral as well. And then I love seeing the staging as well, where she brought the whole thing to life. I just think this is a really rich, interesting, fun package. Maybe not fun, because it's obviously about something that's a bit macabre. Okay, your 4th place with 1,115 points is the Netherlands. Joost Klein singing Europapa. Christina says, different languages, such a cool idea and put together very well. Love the meaning of celebrating Europe as a whole and come together. Many Easter eggs in the lyrics like Papawite and more. Pava says, I'm biased as a huge Joost fan, but I just adore his style of combining something as silly as a chorus going Europapa with the whole heartfelt core of the song that is a message to his late father. The full outro especially is so heartbreaking. The many references he makes are super fun. As a German, I appreciate that he reps my language better than my country does, lol. And all the lyrics are just such a well-made package, perfectly representing Joost as an artist. And we have another comment from YouTube from Leaf Huntress. From the internal rhyme in Neem de Binnen naar Vennen, which means long hike to Vienna, but can also invoke running away crying, to the use of multiple languages, this seemingly happy song has incredibly hard-hitting lyrics about loneliness that doesn't go away no matter how far or how much you travel. Not only does the video clip of Your Papa contain many Easter eggs, the lyrics do too. I love the mention of Stromae's Papawute, which has the same theme to then be followed with Ja ja dadu. Oh, my Dutch is terrible. The same followed with Ja ja dadu it I gote. Yes, Joost did that very well. Lovely comment from Leaf Huntress. Okay, let's go to my third place, and we have our second crossover, because I also love the lyrics from Spain, Nebulosa singing Thora. I have to admit, when I first heard the song, I didn't pick up on this because obviously I was just listening. My Spanish is pretty basic. I couldn't pick up the meaning of it. But when I did my full review and I started reading all the lyrics, and then people were telling me about this connection with Manuela and Tira la Copa, I absolutely love it. I love this female empowerment anthem talking about how no matter what I do, you're going to look down on me. You've already made up your mind. You've got this prejudice against me. I just feel like it's got a really strong, powerful message. And I love this connection with Tira la Copa. I don't feel like the staging fully conveyed it. I would have liked seeing Tira la Copa up on the stage, or more of an effort in the staging to convey the message, because this song has got so much depth and it's got a really strong, cool message. But I think that a lot of people who don't speak Spanish are just going to look at this and see some butt and just kind of like some fabulous clothes and kind of velvet dancing and whatnot, and just think that this is kind of like an 80s sounding song without much to it, when in actuality it's got a lot going on. So I felt a little bit frustrated with this staging wise, that it didn't live up to the potential. I have to admit, I'm just not convinced by this Spanish head of delegation. I think she's got a really bad record. Definitely convince me if I'm wrong in the comments, but yeah, anytime she's there in the 20s, like, she's got a terrible record. So I felt that a really good head of delegation could have come in and taken the staging from Benidorm Fest and elevated this even further to highlight the strength of the lyrics. Like, you guys put this 6th, I put it 3rd. I think this is so much to work with. I don't think that the final product at Eurovision really took advantage of the story that they were telling. But yeah, I love this, and so it's my number 3. Okay, your number 3 is another crossover with a song that I had earlier. With 1,123 points, we have Angelina Mango singing La Noia, only 8 points more than Netherlands. Mika says, I'm sure I'm missing a lot of the fine details when it comes to understanding the lyrics of La Noia, as some things just don't translate well from one language to the other. However, the idea of dancing the cumbia of boredom to stave off the mundane and the forced societal expectations of you as a person and a woman, I think it already creates such a distinct image in my head just based off the lyrics, and good lyrics tend to do that. I agree. There's just a lot of depth in each sentence here. Another abridged comment from Sinclair. I've listened to most of Angelina Mango's discography. All of her songs have this captivating, rare ability to completely entrance me. It's such a touching and genuine exploration of her mental state after her father's death. Each lyric is so transparently vulnerable and extremely relatable as someone who's also experienced depression. And it's great when you do expose yourself in such a vulnerable way. People really can make connections with your songs if you put yourself out there. Okay, it's time for my number 2, and that is Nemo singing The Code for Switzerland. Again, a really great autobiographical song. I feel like Nemo's really putting their heart and soul into this. I really do feel like I get to know them better from this song. It's talking about their struggles in accepting themselves. Some of the lines in it are so clever. Between the O's and ones, that's where I found my kingdom come. I think that's probably the best lyric of the entire contest this year. Meow cat, please meow back is also pretty up there as well. But yeah, really, really clever line. I didn't pick up the pun the first time I heard it. I thought it was a computer reference, but obviously it's a reference to being non-binary. I wonder, is the computer reference a secondary meaning to it? Because I think a lot of people who are part of minorities, who are trying to discover who they are, turn to the internet, because that's where you can meet like-minded people. If you're feeling lonely, that's where you can reach out and find out that there's someone who's like you on the other side of the world. So I wonder, is an unintended secondary meaning of that Nemo was looking online to find out who they are and meet other people as well. I love the Ammonites line as well. I just think it's a happy song as well. It's Nemo talking about how they were struggling and then finding a resolution, working out who they are, breaking the code. I think there's just so much fun wordplay in it and so many fun things to say when you're singing along. Really iconic lyrics. You know, it's in English as well. Again, I think that is important, that it's easier to understand all these things as opposed to if it had been in Swiss, German or French. There's an accessibility here now when you're exposing yourself, but also people at home can understand. I do feel like there's this tug of war in terms of lyrics, and that if you do have them in English, more people are going to be able to resonate. But then I also love when songs are in their native language, like with Greece and with Lithuania. So I kind of want both. And I feel like the lyrics were so cleverly written as well to fit in with the staging. And they gave themselves so many things to work with by being lyrically rich. And that's a lesson for everybody. If you've got really fun, interesting lyrics, I think the staging starts to write itself. as opposed to if you've got something very, like, I'm gonna put it out there, my worst lyrics of this whole season for me were Moldova. I just thought they were absolutely horrendous. I don't think that she gave herself any options because there was nothing to work with that she'd written for. So what's the starting point for the staging? The staging director comes in, what have they got to work with? They've got no big imagery, they've got no big story or emotion to start as a building block. Doing Nemo's staging was so much easier because they've given you so much of their life, so many potential starting points that you can go from. So I think that's part of the reason why they were able to make such amazing staging for them. Okay, your number 2 with 1,135 points, that's only 12 points more than Italy. It's another crossover. You put Croatia second. Baby Lasagna singing Rim Tim Taggy Dim. Lex G says, Meow Cat Please Meow Back is lyrical genius. Seriously though, I really love the story of the anxiety of leaving home. Christina says, Meow Cat Please Meow Back. I sold my cow. I like the animal references. The whole lyrics are kind of funny and relatable, not a common topic, so this is a plus. Yeah, I don't think we've had too many songs like this before. I think Romania had a song a while ago which was in Romanian about people leaving Romania, or were they coming back to Romania? I can't remember, but they had suitcases on stage. Pava says, the lyrics here were just the perfect combination of charming and something that it highlights a real existing issue. Meow Cat Please Meow Back is of course iconic, but also this theme of leaving your home with the there's no going back and the comparison to the City Boys. I wonder if they should have used Meow Cat Please Meow Back more. I think he definitely should have had some merchandise with that written on it, because that is like such a popular line. Interesting that the songs that came first and second this year probably had the 2 most iconic lines of the whole contest: Meow Cat Please My Back and Between the O's and One. ESC Hayden says Croatia's lyrics were pretty genius, especially considering they were written entirely by Marco himself with no label backing. The song conveys a serious message in a lighthearted way without being cheesy. The call and response in there too was icing on the cake, and who can't be taken by Meow Cat Please Meow Back. Yeah, and also remembering that this song originally didn't make the final 24 in Dora, it had to come in as an alternate, is crazy. Because lyrically this is definitely the strongest song in Dora as well. The fact that I didn't even put it in the top 24 is absolute insanity. Okay, it's time for number 1. And you probably have guessed what my number 1 is. It is a crossover with somebody that you had earlier. My number 1 song for lyrics this year is Joost Klein singing Europapa. So if you saw my reaction to this video, I thought it was extremely really touching. I love the juxtaposition in the song, because on the surface it looks like this fun, crazy, wacky, zany song about European togetherness and breaking down borders, let's all be more unified. But then there's also a deeper meaning as well, him exposing this vulnerability of the heartache of losing both of his parents. So I like how this song represents him, because I feel like it has this deep meaning with this shell that is kind of shiny and distracting from the real emotions. And I feel like that is some of what Joost is as well, that he does have this vulnerable hurt inside, but on the exterior he seems fun and happy and crazy and everything is all perfect. So yeah, I love how the song also is a representation of him. I'm very pro-European. You don't have to be pro-European. I don't mind if you're anti-European or whatever, but I am personally very pro-Europe. Being European is a big part of my identity. So for me, this idea of European coming together, I really like the idea of breaking down borders as well and talking about European unity. I was very, very moved by the lyrics when I did that video, if you saw my original reaction. It's fun, it's autobiographical, it's about togetherness, it's got this clever duality of vulnerability and wildness. This would be in my top 10 of lyrics ever, of all Eurovisions ever. Really do love this, and I really hope that Joost comes back so we can get to see him in the final. Maybe he might write a song about the experience that he had being disqualified. I think that's something that's definitely going to affect him. Could he somehow have this really fun, clever play on words? Also, I love that this is in Dutch. Die Diepte was amazing as well. So, yeah, this is 2 of the last 3 years we've had Dutch, and I really like it. I love when we get Dutch. It feels more authentic to me. I hope that Netherlands continues that on. Okay, your number 1, by almost double the amount of points that second place had, with 2,063 points. No surprise, it is Nemo singing the code for Switzerland. Corgi says, what can I say that hasn't been said already? Everything about these lyrics screams symbolism. Lex G says, as a non-binary person, having an artist express their MB journey was just inspiring, and to feel the sheer joy from Nemo in finding that place somewhere between the O's and ones, that's where I found my kingdom come. So yeah, a lot of non-binary people seeing this, I'm feeling really represented. Obviously Nemo bringing the non-binary flag onto the stage. They had to smuggle it in. It wasn't even allowed. Lots of flag drama going on about that behind the scenes. Great representation from Bambi Thug and Nemo this year. Mika says, one of the first things that grabbed my attention when it came to the code was how clever the lyrics are. The cheeky reference to binary was of course the highlight of the lyrics, but parts like let me taste the lows and highs, let me feel that burning fright, this is my behem, so drink it up my friend. So yeah, lots of really great one-liners in here, a lot of time and effort put in. Okay, so that is my top 10 and your top 10. Quite a bit of crossovers there. Like I said, I kept my 10 originally. After reading some of your comments, I wanted to change them. Like I wanted to put Ireland a little bit higher. I wanted to put Norway a little bit higher. But in the end, I decided it'd be better if we had like different top 10s. Because in the end, then we got 14 songs represented. I want to give a shout out to Armenia, who were on my shortlist. They almost made it through. Even though the lyrics are kind of short and there's a lot of las, I love this empowerment thing of Jacko saying, F you, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to be a powerful woman. I also thought about putting in Finland because I love this carefree, fun nature of the songs. I thought about putting in Belgium as well because I enjoyed the theme of this song, but yeah, just missed it in the cut. And then Serbia was another song that I really was considered putting in as well. Let's go through the top 37 and see how everybody placed. So in last place with 12 points was Cyprus, Silly Capsis. People are not lying when they say they didn't like her lyrics. With 13 points, we had Iceland in 36th. Joint 34th, we had Sweden and Azerbaijan. So Sweden, yeah, I think having quite a weak song lyrically this year. It didn't really make sense to me. It just seemed like a random collection of words. I do like when my pop songs have like fun things to say, but I didn't feel like there was a continuous theme. In 33rd place, we have Austria, 23 points. 32, we have Malta, Sarah Bonici singing Loop. So definitely we've got kind of like upbeat, dancey bops down towards the bottom. We know where there is a little bit less focus on the lyrics. Georgia in 31st with 35 points. Moldova in 30th with 37. In 29th spot, we have Albania. So getting points this time. They didn't get any points in the top 10 staging video. So great to see them with 38 points. In 28th, we have Denmark. It's Saba with Sand. 27th, we have Eden Galan for Israel with Hurricane. 26th with 79 points, we have Poland. It's Luna with The Tower. 25th, we have one of the songs that was on my list. 81 points for Dizzy Alexander for the UK. Tally Fighter, Luxembourg in 24th. San Marino in 23rd with 129 points. Isaac doing pretty well in 22nd place for Germany. Actually, a lot of people pointing out some lyrics in the song that I hadn't realized for it. This actually got quite a lot of comments on the EurovisionVote.Party app. Probably the most amount of comments for a song that wasn't in the top 10. Finland in 21st with 149. France, Mon Amour, 271. Not just me who enjoyed that. Australia in 19th with 294. So doing significantly better than they did in the staging, where I think they were bottom 3. Latvia in 18th place with 313. Greece with 323. Another song that I had. Some other people really enjoying Jacko as well from Armenia at 331 points. I think maybe they just replaced some of those las with another verse. Maybe this could have done a little bit stronger. Czech Republic, Aiko in 340. Czech Republic were in the 8th place, I think, for the staging as well. So that's another really good showing. Belgium, Musti in 14th with 345. Luktelk, another one that I had with 425. Just outside the top 10, we have Estonia not making the cut. 5 Minus and Pull Up. I feel this is a song that really would have benefited just from having a few amount of lines in English just to explain what was going on. I really think a lot of people had absolutely no idea. They knew it was fun, they knew it was playful, but they didn't know what they're talking about. So I think like one line in the chorus would have just done so much for Estonia. And then in 11th place, we have Serbia, Teodor singing Ramonda with 496 points, around 90 points behind 10th place Norway. So just missing out on the cut. Okay, so that is my personal top 10 songs in terms of lyrics and also your top 10. I'm going to do another one of these top 10 videos. The next one is going to be about choreography. Now, when I say choreography, I don't just mean like girly bop dancing, dance breaks. I mean anything in regards to movement. It can be lying on the floor. It can be where people are placed in terms of the camera cut. Any type of movement whatsoever. What were your top 10 songs for choreography? I'm going to be posting that up on the community section of my channel very soon. So make sure that you're subscribed so that the algorithm might push you that once I post it. I am, of course, still working on my grand final analysis videos. Again, I'm a little bit behind because I've been working so much, but they are coming. I finished all the data. I just need to film it. Thank you so much to Stephen for supporting me on PayPal. No new donations on Buy Me a Coffee, but if you want to support the channel, I'll have links to you in the description down below. And of course, thank you to all my patrons for supporting me from all around the world. They definitely keep the channel going in the off season. But of course, thank you so much just for being here and maybe leaving a like and maybe sharing the video. And I hope to see you in another Eurovision analysis video very soon. Goodbye. Blah, 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 blah.